What reforms do you think are needed within the UAC program to prevent future release of UACs who actually pose a threat to the safety of Americans?
Yeah, we cannot dismiss the fact that many of these kids, as you mentioned, are 15 or older. They are much more, in my opinion, mature than some of the 15-year-olds here in the United States. They've had a hardened life, but they've been exposed to these gangs, and they're willing to do the work of the gangs. And for the safety of other children and for safety of the United States, we have to look at this from a law enforcement perspective first to protect everybody. So I would make sure that we have separate funding and facilities for those that are believed to be criminal, illegal alien children associated with gangs, so we can make sure that they are not put into settings or released to other gang members.
Right.
This is what it's all about. In order to find this bipartisan solution, we have to recognize that there is a criminal element associated with illegally entering the United States, whether you're an adult or a child. Let's focus on that piece to protect everyone involved, most importantly, the American citizens, but the migrants themselves. And then start taking small chunks at the immigration system overall. But we cannot sit there and broad brush and say every child over here and every sponsor is doing this for the right reason, because we've got proof the otherwise. So we have to put law enforcement as a priority first to protect Americans and these children. After that, you got an uphill battle on solving the immigration piece, but it should be a quick solution to target the criminal element involved in all of this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're tackling one of the most serious and emotional issues facing our nation right now. The crisis at the southern border and the loophole that's been quietly fueling it for years. We're talking about unaccompanied alien children, or UACs, and how a decades-old policy meant to protect children has now turned into a magnet for exploitation, human trafficking, and chaos. This isn't just a border issue, it's a national issue, one that affects law enforcement, our schools, our communities, and most importantly, the children themselves. And in a recent congressional hearing, lawmakers and former Border Patrol officials laid out exactly how this loophole came to be and how it's being abused today. Stick with me, because what they revealed should outrage every single American who believes in law, order, and humanity. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update on what's really happening in Washington.
Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member, appreciate the opportunity to have this hearing today and want to thank all of the witnesses for your time and ability to come and speak to us on this important issue. Chief Clem, I'm going to start with you. You served in Border Patrol for over 27 years, and so I know you've had a front row seat to witness the crisis at our southern border and including the spike in arrivals of UACs. I know that you've talked a little bit about this today, but specifically, I believe we need to amend Section 235 of the Trafficking Victims Protection Reauthorization Act of 2008, which is primarily the loophole that is used in our laws to incentivize the illegal immigration of UACs to our southern border. I've been proud to co-sponsor a number of bills that will actually do just that, but it's also worth noting that historically that has been a bipartisan position. June 2014, President Obama sent a letter to congressional leadership asking Congress to amend this act, and even the Washington Post editorial board followed suit in August of 2014. Can you explain to everyone how Section 235 of the TVPRA has incentivized illegal migration of UACs to the southern border, particularly UACs from non-contiguous countries?
I'm going to do my best to recall that specific section, but what I understand, TVPRA, and especially having worked up in Washington, D.C. as the CBP head for the President Obama's executive actions during that time frame when we saw that initial push of UACs in South Texas, TVPRA allows for immediate repatriation to contiguous countries, Mexico and Canada.
Right.
What we need, and when you get to the incentivize, is why are we separating Canada and Mexico from all the other countries, especially those in our hemisphere, Central America, who are generally allies Why would we not treat the UACs with a rapid repatriation once we've done an initial screening to ensure that they're not, trafficked or not victims of any kind of abuse? But once that cleared, we should treat them and get them back to their home country as quickly as possible, just like we would do with a Canadian national or a Mexican national. I think that would close a loophole and keep the family, because that's oftentimes what's happened is the families are separated before they even get to our border. Come up with a more clear and direct process for someone to lawfully immigrate in the United States versus sending their child in here and then hoping they can reconnect later.
Right, and look, I believe that this creates a safety issue, not only and many times for the lives of the UACs, but also for the American people in many ways. And in June 2024, a report from the House Judiciary Subcommittee on Immigration, Integrity, Security, and Enforcement discussed the fact that at the time, more than 400,000 UACs were released to sponsors by the Biden-Harris administration, which is a 100% increase compared to that of the first Trump administration. Most of them were teenage boys. And if you look at it, nearly 70% of UACs referred to HHS were 15 years of age or older. And in fact, only 19% were actually under the age of 12. The report also found that HHS did not have a policy to refer known gang members to the Justice Department. Additionally, it went on, HHS did not ask UAC's home country and consulates or embassies for their criminal record, despite having the actual ability to do that. And HHS admitted that it did not currently have any secure facilities designed for the secure placement of UACs who posed a danger to themselves or those who had been determined to have a criminal record. So it's worth noting and remembering the Biden-Harris administration released a 17-year-old MS-13 gang member who had entered the country as a UAC and then went on to sexually assault and murder 20-year-old Kyla Hamilton. For the record, Kyla was an actual legal resident of Maryland, unlike others who we've heard a lot about in the last couple of months. Chief Clem, in my remaining minute here.
This hearing was a wake-up call. The American people deserve the truth, and they deserve leaders who put the safety of our nation and the protection of children first. If you believe we need real reform at our border, reform that's fair, firm, and compassionate, make sure to hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more deep dives into what's really happening in Washington. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay informed, stay strong, and I'll see you in the next video.